Gentlemen, secure the line. What we are about to discuss is classified kingdom intelligence. This is not a public announcement. This is not a motivational speech for the crowd. This is a private transmission delivered straight to your spirit. And if you are hearing this, it is because you have the clearance to receive it. There is a reason you clicked on this. There is a reason the title grabbed you. It's because deep down, you know you are operating on a different frequency than the rest of the world. Not everything God says is meant to be repeated, explained, or broadcasted to everyone you know. There are certain strategic revelations that God only releases to those he trusts, and he does not trust raw recruits with heavy artillery. We need to get one thing straight immediately. This message is not for the civilians. It requires maturity. It requires discernment. It requires a man who knows how to keep his mouth shut when the stakes are high. Loose lips don't just sink ships. They cheapen sacred things. That is why God didn't send this briefing to everyone. He sent it to you. You have been looking around at your life, asking for clarity. You've been asking for direction. But instead of giving you more noise, God gave you intimacy. Instead of a spectacle, he gave you stillness. You might have confused that stillness for isolation. You might have thought you were being ignored or left behind by a younger, faster world. You were wrong. The silence wasn't rejection. It was security protocol. God marked you for this specific moment. But before we proceed any further into this dossier, I need to know who is standing watch. I need to know where my veterans are posted. If your spirit knows this intel is for you, respond now. Go to the comments section, state your station, drop your city and your nation so we can see where the remnant is being positioned. This is your roll call. This is you signaling to headquarters that you are active and ready for instructions. Like this message as your agreement that you are ready to handle this intel with care. Soldier, hold position. Before we open the rest of this file, you need to secure your connection. If this frequency is already resonating with your spirit, do not remain a silent observer. Subscribe now. The enemy specializes in jamming communications right before the breakthrough command is given. Don't let him cut your line to headquarters when you need the intel the most. Do not scroll past this. The act of responding is your physical agreement with spiritual alignment. Now, listen closely. The world celebrates exposure. Civilians celebrate noise. But the kingdom honors discretion. What God is entrusting to you in this season is not for public consumption. It is for stewardship. You have survived things that would have broken a weaker man. You have walked through confusion without losing your loyalty. You endured the silence without going AWOL. That is why you are here. God looked at your character, he looked at your restraint, and he decided you could be trusted with the secrets of the operation. The recruits, the ones chasing hype and attention, they can't handle this. They would leak it. They would dilute it. They would use it to build a platform instead of a kingdom. But you are different. You don't need to impress anyone anymore. You've taken the hits. You've got the scars. And those scars are your proof of clearance. This intel is dangerous. If you mishandle it, it can expose you. But if you guard it, it will become the compass for your next deployment. What heaven tells you in private is often what positions you in public later, but only if you can survive the quiet season first. We are going to uncover why this mission had to come privately. We are going to look at why God hid you away. It wasn't an accident. It was an assignment. Stand by. The briefing has just begun. Classified intel. Why silence is your weapon. Here is your first directive for this phase of the mission. Secrecy is not just a preference. It is your primary weapon. In the world of intelligence, we call this OPS, operational security. It means protecting critical information to prevent the enemy from intercepting your plans. You need to understand that information is power, but leaked information is a liability. This is where many of you have failed in the past. You received a download from headquarters, a vision for your future, a business idea, or a spiritual shift, and your first instinct was to share it. You wanted to celebrate. You wanted validation. So you went to the people closest to you and opened the dossier. You spilled the intel. And what happened? They didn't applaud. They questioned you. They doubted you. Or worse, they talked you out of it. You need to understand the civilian dynamic. The people around you, your family, your old friends, your co-workers, they are not the enemy. They are simply civilians. They do not have your security clearance. They are living a normal life, focused on comfort and safety. You have been called to a mission that requires risk and faith. When you try to explain heavy spiritual artillery to a civilian, they panic. They don't have the capacity to carry the weight of what God showed you. It is not their fault. You don't hand a loaded weapon to someone who has never been trained to use it. If you do, and it goes off, that is on you, not them. Stop getting angry at people for not understanding a language they were never taught to speak. History is full of operatives who compromised their mission because they couldn't stay quiet. Look at the tactical failure of Joseph. He was a chosen man, just like you. He received high-level intel about his future position, but he was young and undisciplined. He lacked OPESIC. He went straight to his brothers, his own unit, and told them he would rule over them. The dream was real, but the timing of the release was wrong. By leaking the intel prematurely, he turned potential allies into active hostiles. His mouth wrote a check that his current rank couldn't cash. It cost him years of unnecessary suffering in a pit and a prison because he didn't know how to hold his tongue. Now, contrast that with Nehemiah. When he received the assignment to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, he moved differently. He arrived in the city and told no one what God had put in his heart to do. He went out at night, inspecting the damage, surveying the broken walls in the dark. He gathered the facts before he announced the plan. He didn't seek approval from the committee before he had the strategy. Because he moved in silence, the enemy didn't know how to attack until the work was already halfway done. You are being called to move like Nehemiah, not Joseph. Right now, you are sitting on something. Maybe it's a move to a new city. Maybe it's a financial shift. Maybe it's a desire to finally step into a leadership role you've been avoiding. Mark this word. Keep it eyes only. This is for your eyes and God's eyes. Do not take it to the dinner table yet. Do not post it on social media for likes. The moment you speak a plan into the air, you invite resistance. You alert the enemy to your location. When you broadcast your intentions, you give people the ammunition to shoot them down. Silence buys you time. Silence allows you to build the foundation underground, where no one can criticize it, because no one can see it yet. You are in the dark room development phase. If you open the door and let the light in too early, you ruin the image. This is why you feel a check in your spirit every time you try to talk about your future. That is the Holy Spirit engaging the safety lock on your mouth. He is protecting the asset. He knows that if you release this word to the wrong people, their doubt will infect your faith. So here's your protocol for the next season. If God hasn't given you the order to release the information, you hold the line. You carry the weight of the secret. It might feel lonely, but command is always lonely. You are not keeping secrets from people. You are keeping secrets for the purpose. Guard the intel. Secure the perimeter of your mind. Your silence is not weakness. It is the sign of a veteran who knows that the most dangerous moves are made without a sound. Now that we have secured the information, we need to address the environment you are living in. You feel the gap widening between you and the crowd. That isn't accidental. In the next chapter, we are going to analyze the civilian disconnect and why you can no longer operate by their rules. Stay focused. The civilian disconnect. You have likely noticed a shift in your environment lately. It starts as a feeling of irritation. You look around at the world today, at the culture, the conversations, the obsession with speed and noise, and you feel a deep, nagging disconnect. You walk into rooms you used to enjoy, and suddenly you just want to leave. The conversations feel shallow. The concerns feel trivial. You try to engage, but it feels like you are speaking a different language. This is the point where most men get discouraged. You start thinking something is wrong with you. You wonder if you are becoming bitter or obsolete or just an angry old man who can't keep up with the times. You feel isolated, as if the world has moved on and left you standing in an empty parking lot. Let me correct that thinking right now. You are not experiencing rejection. You are experiencing protection of the asset. In any high-level military operation, the most valuable assets are never left out in the open. The infantry is on the front lines, visible and exposed. The recruits are in the mess hall, making noise. But the generals, the strategists, the men with the codes, they are kept in the command center. They are behind reinforced doors. They are isolated not because they are unwanted, but because they are too critical to the mission to be exposed to random traffic. You are not lonely. You are secured. God has moved you into a spiritual command center. He has pulled you back from the crowd because he is about to download instructions that require total focus. You can't hear the coordinates for the next strike if you are surrounded by the static of civilian gossip. This isolation is your shield. It is the perimeter fence that keeps the distractions out so you can hear the commander's voice clearly. This brings us to the us versus them dynamic. When I say them, I am talking about the civilians. These are the people who are driven by the culture of now. They chase attention. They measure their worth by how many people are looking at them. They want internet fame. They want the applause. They live for the spectacle. But us, the operatives, the chosen ones, we operate by a different code. We don't chase attention. We chase alignment. We don't want fame. We want authority. There is a massive difference between being popular and being powerful. A celebrity has popularity. They have fans. A general has authority. He has soldiers. Listen to me closely. I know you are trained to move in silence, watching from the shadows. But a lone wolf eventually gets surrounded. If this intel is hitting the target, hit that subscribe button. There is no honor in fighting this war alone when a full unit of veterans is standing right here, waiting for you to form up. Don't leave your flank exposed. Civilians are obsessed with looking successful. Operatives are obsessed with being effective. Civilians post everything they do because they need the validation of the crowd to feel real. Operatives hide what they do because they know the value of the element of surprise. You are feeling this disconnect because you are graduating from the need for applause. You are realizing that the noise of the crowd is actually a liability. You used to want to be the center of attention. Now, you just want to get the job done. That isn't a crisis. That is maturity. It is the difference between a boy playing soldier and a man fighting a war. The people around you, the civilians, won't understand this shift. They will ask you, "Why are you so quiet lately?" Or, "Why don't you come out anymore?" They might even accuse you of being distant or cold. Don't let that rattle you. They interpret your silence as pride because they don't understand the burden of command. They are playing a game. You are planning a legacy. You have to be okay with being misunderstood. In fact, you should expect it. If the crowd understood everything you were doing, you would probably be doing something wrong. The crowd is almost always wrong. They run toward the noise. You are being trained to run toward the silence. I want to know if this is landing with you. Have you felt this shift? Have you walked into a room and felt like you just didn't belong there anymore? Have you felt the urge to pull back, to go quiet, to separate yourself from the nonsense? I want you to verify this in the comments right now. If you have felt this separation, simply type, "I feel the shift." Let the other men in this unit know they aren't the only ones in the bunker. It is important to acknowledge that your isolation is not a punishment. It is a promotion. God is clearing the room because He is about to speak. He is removing the people who would distract you, drain you, or delay you. He is closing the door to the public so He can open the file on your future. But before you can read that file, you have to understand why you were selected. You have to understand that your past struggles, the things you thought were failures, were actually the vetting process for this security clearance. We are going to open that file in the next chapter. Stay on the line. The vetting process, decoding your scars. We need to conduct a review of your personnel file. I know what you see when you look back at the last 30 or 40 years. You see a series of disconnected events. You see the business that didn't take off. You see the marriage that ended in a courtroom. You see the years you spent stuck in a career that didn't respect you. You see the health scare that brought you to your knees. To the untrained eye, that looks like a record of losses. You might look in the mirror and see an aging man who missed his prime. But headquarters sees something completely different. That wasn't failure. That was the vetting process. In the intelligence community, before an operative is given the highest level of clearance, they undergo a rigorous background check. They are stress tested. The agency needs to know, can this man be bought? Can he be broken? Will he fold when the pressure gets real? Will he run when the fire gets hot? God has been running a background check on you for decades. He allowed the trouble not to punish you, but to proof you. Think about the young recruits we talked about earlier. They have energy, they have ambition, they have talent, but they have no structural integrity. They haven't been hit yet. You give a raw recruit the nuclear codes, the heavy, life-altering power of kingdom authority, and he will self-destruct. He will sell out for a little bit of fame or fold the moment things get hard. But you have already taken the hits. That bankruptcy, it didn't destroy you. It stripped you of your reliance on money and taught you to trust the supplier. That betrayal, it hurt like hell, but it didn't turn you into a monster. It sharpened your discernment. It taught you who to trust and who to block. That season of silence where you felt invisible, it killed your ego so your spirit could live. You are not damaged goods. You are a hardened weapon. Steel is not forged by asking it nicely to be strong. It is forged in fire and beaten on an anvil. The reason you are still standing when so many other men your age have given up, checked out, or grown bitter is because the metal of your character is real. You survived things that would have crushed a weaker man. That survival is your qualification. God does not trust the comfortable. He trusts the tested. He looked at your life and said, I can trust him with this intel because I know he won't use it to feed his pride. I beat the pride out of him in 1998. I can trust him with this resource because he won't worship it. He learned that lesson in the recession. I can trust him to lead because he knows what it feels like to follow. You need to stop apologizing for your scars. In this unit, scars are rank. They are proof that you stayed in the fight when you had every reason to go AWOL. Look at the biblical record. Moses murdered a man and spent 40 years hiding in the desert before he was cleared for command. David was hunted like a dog by his own king before he ever sat on the throne. Peter failed publicly and denied the mission before he was given the keys to the church. The pattern is undeniable. The vetting process is brutal because the assignment is critical. If the mission wasn't dangerous, the training wouldn't have been this hard. So, change your perspective today. Stop looking at your past as a list of regrets. Start looking at it as elite training. You have passed the background check. You have survived the stress test. You are the only one in your bloodline who is still holding the line. That is why you have the intel. That is why you have the ear of the king. You aren't just an older man. You are a dangerous man because you have nothing left to lose and everything to gain. Now that we have established that you are qualified, we need to talk about your current position. You might feel like you are doing nothing right now. You might feel like you are just waiting, but in the next chapter, I'm going to show you that waiting is actually a military strategy. We are going to discuss the sleeper cell and the strategy of stillness. Don't go anywhere. The sleeper cell, the strategy of stillness. We need to address the most difficult part of this entire operation, the wait. Right now, many of you feel like your life has stalled. The phone isn't ringing like it used to. The opportunities seem to have dried up. You wake up every morning with a full tank of gas, but you have nowhere to drive. You feel like you are parked in a garage while the rest of the world is speeding down the highway. To a civilian, this looks like stagnation. They look at you and say, "He's finished. He's retired. He's out of the game." And if you listen to them, you will start to believe it. You will start to panic. You will try to force doors open that God deliberately shut. But you need to check your orders. You are not stagnant. You are in a strategic hold. There is a massive difference between doing nothing and holding your position. Think about a sniper. A sniper can lie in the mud for 3 days without moving a muscle. To the untrained eye, he looks like he is doing absolutely nothing. He looks inactive. But internally, he is the most active man on the battlefield. He is calculating wind speed. He is measuring distance. He is controlling his breathing. He is waiting for the target to move into the crosshairs. He isn't lazy. He is lethal. The reason he is so still is because he has limited ammunition. The infantry, the civilians, they have automatic weapons. They can spray and pray. They can run around making noise, wasting thousands of rounds hoping to hit something. But a sniper? A sniper takes one shot, and that one shot changes the entire outcome of the war. You are in the sniper phase of your life. You don't have the energy to waste anymore. You don't have 40 years to rebuild if you mess this up. You have one golden round left in the chamber. This is your legacy run. This is the final assignment. And because the stakes are this high, God has ordered you into stillness. He is forcing you to wait because he needs you to acquire the target perfectly. The noise you hear outside, the politics, the cultural chaos, the panic on the news, that is just suppressive fire. The enemy is firing over your head, trying to get you to panic. He wants you to jump up, run out of cover, and expose your position. He wants you to make a move out of fear. Do not break cover. Moving too early is fatal. If a sniper moves before the command is given, he doesn't just miss the target, he reveals his location to the enemy. The moment you try to force a business deal, or force a relationship, or force a ministry launch before God says go, you compromise the entire mission. You expose yourself to attacks you are not equipped to handle yet. You might be asking, why is God so quiet right now? Understand the protocol of a briefing room. When the soldiers are chatting, it's noisy. But the moment the general walks into the room to give the final deployment orders, the room goes dead silent. The silence isn't an absence of presence. It is a sign of authority. It means the command is about to speak. God has quieted your house because he is about to give you the coordinates. He has removed the distractions because the instruction he is about to release is too heavy to be shouted over the noise of a crowd. This stillness is not a delay. It is preparation for impact. You are being coiled like a spring. The further you are pulled back, the farther you will launch when the finger releases. So, if you are in a holding pattern today, stop fighting it. Stop trying to look busy for people who don't matter. Let them think you are sleeping. Let them think you are finished. A sleeper cell is designed to look dormant until the activation code is sent. Your job right now is to clean your weapon. Keep your mind sharp. Keep your spirit clear. Watch the horizon. Do not let the silence make you doubt your clearance. You are simply waiting for the green light. And when that light turns green, you won't be scrambling to get ready. You will be the only one ready to fire. Now that you understand the strategy of the wait, we need to look at the objective. What exactly are you aiming at? In the next chapter, we are going to open the dossier. We are going to look at the specific assignment for the final quarter of your life. This is the mission you were saved for. Stay focused. Stand down and look at me. If you haven't subscribed yet, you need to ask yourself, are you avoiding the order? Every time you ask headquarters for a strategy, you get guided to briefings like this. Do not dishonor the supply line heaven is trying to establish for you. Subscribe so you don't miss the deployment signal when the chaos starts. You asked for guidance, don't reject it when it arrives. The dossier, the assignment for the final quarter. Gentlemen, we are opening the dossier. This is the part of the briefing where we stop talking about your past training and start talking about your active orders. You need to understand exactly what is at stake right now. You are entering the final quarter of the game. In any sport, the fourth quarter is where the legends are made. It is where the stamina of the veterans overtakes the speed of the rookies. Most men your age are looking for an exit strategy. They are looking for a beach chair and a pension. That is the civilian mindset. Retirement is a civilian concept. In the kingdom, there is no retirement. There is only redeployment. Moses started his biggest mission at 80. Caleb asked for a mountain to conquer at 85. You are not winding down. You are just switching theaters of war. Here is your assignment. You are shifting from success to legacy. For the first half of your life, you chased success. You chased the title, the paycheck, the house, the car. That was necessary. You had to provide. You had to prove yourself. But that season is over. Success is what you add to yourself. Legacy is what you install in others. Success dies when you die. Legacy is the only thing that survives the grave. You are being positioned now to be a broker of wisdom. The world is full of information, but it is starving for wisdom. We have a generation of young men who know how to code, how to trade crypto, and how to edit videos, but they don't know how to be fathers. They don't know how to endure a storm. They don't know how to keep a promise when it costs them money. That is where you come in. You possess the intel that they are missing. This is the Joseph mandate. Remember Joseph in Egypt? He wasn't just a ruler, he was a storehouse. He knew a famine was coming. He knew that the 7 years of plenty were going to be followed by 7 years of lack. So, while everyone else was partying and consuming, Joseph was storing grain. He was building the reserves. We are heading into a spiritual and cultural famine. You can see it. Moral bankruptcy is everywhere. Common sense is becoming rare. The civilians are burning through their resources, their attention span, their relationships, their integrity. They are squandering everything. Your mission is to be the silo. You are being called to store up the resources, the financial assets, yes, but more importantly, the spiritual equity. You are the one who knows how to pray when the doctors give a bad report. You are the one who knows how to stay calm when the market crashes. You are the one who knows how to keep a family together when the culture is trying to tear it apart. God is about to transfer resources into your hands, influence, money, opportunities, not so you can buy a better boat, but so you can feed a starving generation. He cannot trust these resources to the children. They would eat it all in a day. He needs a father who knows how to ration. He needs a veteran who knows how to manage the supply line. This is why you feel that urgency in your chest. That isn't anxiety. That is the Holy Spirit waking you up for redeployment. You feel like time is running out because, frankly, it is. You don't have 20 years to waste on golf. You have work to do. Do not let society tell you that your best days are behind you. That is a lie from the enemy to get you to disarm. Your strongest days are right now because your strength is no longer physical. It is spiritual. A young man runs fast, but an old man knows the shortcut. You are not done. You are just now qualified to handle the heavy cargo. So look at your life today. Look at your bank account, your business, your family. Stop asking, how does this serve me? And start asking, how do I secure this for the future? You are building the foundation that your grandchildren will stand on. You are planting trees you will never sit under. That is the definition of a king. But be warned, when you start building something real, you attract attention. Not all of it is good. When you possess valuable intel, you become a target for espionage. In the next chapter, we are going to discuss counterintelligence. We need to talk about the people in your life who are trying to sabotage this mission, sometimes without even knowing it. We need to identify who to cut off and who to keep. Prepare yourself. This next part requires a hard look at your circle. Counterintelligence. Recognizing sabotage, we are now moving into the most critical phase of your security briefing, counterintelligence. By now, you understand that you are carrying valuable cargo. You understand that your life is no longer about just existing. It is about establishing a legacy. But you need to understand the rules of war. When you become a high-value target, the enemy does not just sit back and watch. He sends agents to intercept you. And here's the hard truth that most men your age learn too late. The sabotage rarely comes from a stranger. It almost always comes from inside the camp. In the intelligence world, a leak is usually someone on the inside who has been compromised. They have access to the files. They have the security codes. They are in the room, in your life. These are the people you have allowed into your inner circle. They are the friends you've had for 30 years. They are the family members you sit with at holidays. You need to develop spiritual discernment immediately. You need to identify who in your life is compromised. How do you spot a compromised agent? Watch their reaction to your new assignment. When you start talking about your vision or your new discipline or your desire to get right with God, do they encourage you or do they make a joke out of it? The friend who mocks your faith is not just being annoying. He is a security breach. He is trying to pull you back down to his level because your growth exposes his stagnation. The partner or relative who constantly reminds you of your past mistakes, "Oh, remember when you messed that up?" is trying to disable your future. They are uncomfortable with the general you are becoming because they only know how to relate to the private you used to be. You must realize that their fear is dangerous to your mission. If they are afraid of where you are going, they will subconsciously try to sabotage the vehicle. They will offer you safety when God is calling you to risk. They will tell you to be realistic when God is telling you to have faith. You have to cut the feed. You cannot afford to have negative voices broadcasting into your headset while you are trying to fly the plane. We also need to talk about the Delilah spirit. Don't make the mistake of thinking this is only about lust or an affair. The Delilah spirit is a strategy of extraction. The goal of Delilah was not sex. The goal was the secret. She wanted to know the source of Samson's strength so she could neutralize it. At this stage in your life, the enemy knows he can't take you out with childish temptations. So, he sends distractions. He sends people who just want to waste your time. They want to talk for hours about nothing. They want to drag you into petty arguments or family drama that has nothing to do with you. They pester you. They wear you down. Why are you working so hard? Why are you so serious? Just relax. That is an extraction attempt. They are trying to drain your energy so you have nothing left for the mission. If you give your strength to people who don't respect the assignment, you will end up like Samson, blind, grinding grain in a prison, wondering where your power went. So, what is the protocol? You enforce the need-to-know basis. This is standard military procedure. Not everyone in the unit gets to know the full battle plan. They only know what they need to know to do their job. You need to apply this to your life. You do not owe everyone an explanation. You do not owe your old drinking buddies a reason why you aren't coming out. You do not owe your skeptical cousins the details of your business plan. You must learn to set boundaries without apology. I can't discuss that right now. That's personal. I'm busy with a project. Be brief, be polite, but be a steel wall. This is not being mean. This is protecting the asset. If you leave the door to the command center open, anyone can walk in and push buttons. You are the gatekeeper. It is your job to lock the door. Here is your action step for this chapter. I want you to perform a mental audit of your circle. Go through the contact list in your phone. Look at the names of the people you talk to the most. Ask yourself one question for each name. Does this person feed my spirit, or do they drain my battery? If they drain you, you have a leak. You don't have to call them and start a fight. You just have to revoke their clearance. Stop telling them your secrets. Stop answering every call. Stop looking for their approval. Distance is your defense. You are building a legacy that will outlast you. You cannot afford to let someone with a civilian mindset sabotage a kingdom operation. Tighten your circle. Secure your perimeter. In the final chapter, we are going to issue the deployment orders. We are going to seal this mission with a commissioning prayer and give you the signal to move out. You have the intel. You know the strategy. Now it's time to accept the mission. Stand by for activation. Mission activation. The deployment orders. Gentlemen, the briefing is concluded. You have received the dossier. You understand the strategy. You know why you were pulled back from the front lines and placed into the quiet of the command center. You now understand that your isolation was not a punishment. It was a security clearance. You know that your scars are your rank. You know who the civilians are, and you know why you must guard this intel with your life. Information without execution is just trivia. You did not come this far just to feel good about yourself. You are here to be deployed. The time for analyzing your past is over. The time for regretting your mistakes is finished. We are moving into the operational phase. This is your commissioning. I want you to receive this prayer not as a passive request, but as an authorization of power. I am standing in agreement with you right now, soldier to soldier, spirit to spirit. We are sealing this intel into your heart so the enemy cannot steal it. Let us pray. Father, I stand before you with these men, your veterans, your chosen guard. Lord, you know the battles they have fought. You know the scars they carry. You know the nights they sat in silence, wondering if their best days were gone. But today, we declare that their greatest campaign is just beginning. Lord, seal this classified intel in their spirits. Grant them the discipline of silence. Put a guard over their mouths so they do not leak the strategy to the wrong people. Give them the discernment to spot the saboteurs and the courage to close the door on the distractions. I ask for a fresh supply of strength, not the energy of a recruit, but the endurance of a general. Strengthen their hands for war. Sharpen their minds for strategy. Let them walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere without saying a word. Let their presence command respect. Father, activate the sleeper cells. Where they have been dormant, let them wake up. Where they have been stalled, let the wheels begin to turn. I declare that the resources, the connections, and the wisdom they need for this final quarter are being released right now. They are not fighting for a career. They are fighting for a legacy. Make them dangerous to the enemy. Make them effective for the kingdom. In the mighty name of Jesus, we declare this mission active. Amen. Now, we need to sign the orders. Every special operation requires an oath. You have heard the instructions, and now you must confirm that you are ready to carry them out. This is your non-disclosure agreement with heaven. This is you telling headquarters that you accept the responsibility of the intel. I want you to go to the comment section right now and type 2 words, Mission ACCEPTID. Do not type anything else, just those 2 words. This is your digital signature. This is your signal to the other men in this unit that you are locked in. You are focused, and you are ready to hold the line. When you type that, you are engaging your will. You are stepping out of the civilian crowd and standing in formation. Finally, we need to address logistics. No war is won without a supply line. An army travels on its stomach, and a mission moves on resources. You are not just a soldier. You are a builder. And builders understand that you have to fund the work you believe in. Gentlemen, your orders are clear. You have the intel. You have the clearance. You have the power. Do not go back to the civilian way of thinking. Do not look for validation from people who do not have your rank. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your eyes open. Build in the dark so you can shine in the light. Before you dismiss, chosen one, recognize this fact. You stood watch through this entire briefing. That confirms your clearance. Do not walk off the space without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it secures your access to the next phase of the operation. Join the ranks. Your marching orders for the next battle are already being drafted, and you don't want to be absent when they are called out. Stand down. Stay quiet. Wait for the signal. Over and out.